tonight. So George, well, I guess you can talk more about what you do in REVA Global, just to give a summary or brief overview.
Okay, so let me talk about our company. So REVA Global Philippines. By the way, let me introduce myself first. My name is George, like what Jason mentioned, and I'm the managing director of REVA Global Philippines. So REVA Global and our founder and CEO Bob LaChance, we're a multinational company that caters to our clients abroad with the help of Philippine virtual professionals. So the concept of working home base started with a goal to help improve the lives of of our fellow Filipinos, just like how you did it, Jason. I've read your blog and about you, and it was also what prompted you to start this, right? So
Mhm.
the virtual company, I think, is really the future of our generation at the moment. Very similar to when the BPO started way back in the 1990s, most especially with the pandemic, with the traffic. So our goal really here is to take back the time, which is the most valuable resource of everyone. And I'm sure that a lot of us would agree that nothing is comparable to time. Like money, yes, we can earn it,
Mhm.
but time is something that we can never take back. So how we do it is we have a pool of clients in the US, and what we're really aiming for here is the security of our virtual professionals. We are very much aware with our competitors, with direct hires, but here at Riva, we are assuring everyone that the security of getting hired by a client is there. Meaning, whether the client cancels or the client pays or not, Riva Global will be shouldering it even when the client doesn't cover the fees of the VAs. We've
Mm,
heard of those
nice,
stories,
nice.
so that's something that we really take care of. We also offer other company incentives. We offer our virtual professionals paid time offs or paid leaves. We also have HMO healthcare upon their 6th month with a client. So we're really all about people because we believe that the core of the company are its people. So we make sure that we take care of them. So basically, that's how we are here at Riva.
Good to hear. Good to hear. Ayan, so you've heard about basic overview of what Riva Global is and how they help us, diba? Yun naman ang vision natin. That's why we have the VA Bootcamp. That's why we have companies like Riva Global because we're trying to help mga kapong Pilipino natin, diba? To provide these opportunities, like what George
Hmm.
said, na time, diba? Time with your family. I'm sure a lot of you watching right now, you want to spend more time with your family. You want to have more time to do the things that you love with the people that you love. Diba? Like, well, there's a reply na para si Mahar. Thank you, Mahar, for replying to that. And can you guys, what's prompting you? Everyone watching right now, diba, they're interested in becoming virtual assistants, interested in
Hmm.
working from home. Okay, guys, what's prompting you? Is it time? Ba? What's the main reason why you want to get into working from home? Now, George, with and you guys are doing something really admirable. But can you tell us more about, because we talk about virtual assistant a lot, we talk
Hmm.
about freelancing and working from home. Pero what's different about yung real estate virtual assistants?
Okay, so the reason why we're called Viva Global, because when we first started this, we were really catering to realtors, to investors. That's why it's Viva Global. So we started way back, like early 2000. I think we started around 2013, 2014. So during that time, the virtual assistants wasn't that rampant yet in the US. Like very few really believed in the virtual assistants. So most of the clients that we really had were realtors and investors because those are big in the US. These realtors, these investors, they want to focus on the things that they can do on site, meaning in the US, and then outsource everything that can be done virtually. And there's a lot of paperwork involved, there's a lot of cold calling involved. That's why for them, their concept is instead of them having to do that, why not outsource someone from the Philippines? So
Mm-mm-mm.
um, for us here in the Philippines, of course, how we source them is we also meticulously screen them. But ultimately, as the world evolved, of course, then we're kind of catering to different types of clients already. In fact, we have a medical division, we have texting platforms. So it's not just solely real estate anymore. But since we started with our name here, then we're stuck with that. But yeah, we offer a lot of services to different types of clients already at the moment.
Like, so what's the percentage? Like right now, How many are in real estate? How many are in medical? Or how many are in small
Mhm.
business? Ganun.
Okay, so the number one percentage of our clients are really real estate investors. So I would say that 70% of our clients are investors. And then
Real
for the
estate.
real estate side, around 20%. For our medical division side, the reason why it's only 10%, because at the moment we're not yet marketing, meaning this is only from the word of mouth because we want to make sure that we are ready when we start marketing in the US. Because Jason, once we market in the US, like, believe it or not, we would have like 30 signups in a day, and we're not prepared for that because we want to make sure that our VAs are equipped with a proper skill set and tools. Because what we're showcasing here is that we're the world class in the industry. That's why we want to make sure that before endorsing them or placing them with the clients, the VAs are well vetted. And like organization and companies like yours, Jason, who prepares these VAs are also very helpful for us, because once they train under your bootcamp, then by the time they join Riva Global, you have already meticulously screened them and they already have the basic knowledge of what it's like to be a virtual professional or virtual assistant.
Yeah, yeah. We provide the training. So as
Mm-hmm.
you guys know, in the VA bootcamp, we do have our trainings, and we prepare you for the real world online.
Mm-hmm.
George is saying, for getting those clients, for getting those jobs. Um, we have 152 viewers right now. So once again, good evening to everybody. If you have any questions for George and Riva Global, let us know. Like sabi niya kanina, 70% of their clients are investors, 20% real estate, mga 10% medical. Did I get that right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So that's kind of their pie of clients right now. Now, what do you mean by investor? Real estate investors?
Yes, real estate investors. Correct.
Yung mga VAs,
Mm-hmm.
the real estate, the VAs of these real estate investors, what do they do? What are their tasks, mga daily tasks?
So it varies. We have different types of investors. We have wholesalers, rehabbers, flippers. So like here in the Philippines, wholesalers are like those buy and sell, meaning they're gonna be buying a house and then they're just gonna sell it as is where is, and they're gonna be earning a profit from it. So basically that's it. So the task varies, but majority of the tasks of what our VAs does is of course the goal. What is the end goal? The end goal is to be able to close a deal or close a sale, buy a house. So it's um, mostly cold calling, but there's also a lot of administrative work on the side when we have to do the contracts and the like. So those are the two basic tasks that our virtual professionals do, but it's not limited to that. There are other clients who would hire VAs to do their marketing, meaning social media. So it really varies. Those are some of the tasks that our VA does. So maybe the questions of our viewers would be, um, am I qualified? Would I be qualified? Then as long as you have the proper mindset and the skills and the determination to really do the job and excel in that craft, then of course they are qualified.
Yeah, good to hear. Like, so what kind of, let's say ako, let's say I'm applying, di ba? Let's say I'm gonna apply as a VA. I know this is
Mhm.
because this is gonna be in the minds of a lot of the viewers. They want to apply as a VA. Okay, so what kind of skills do I need, like, that you're gonna require me to have before you accept me as a VA for one of your clients?
Okay, so of course, number one is the knowledge and the efficiency and the efficiency of speaking the English language, because our clients are Americans, meaning it's very important that there's a proper communication between the client and the VA. Because if we don't have that, then it would be hard to complete a certain task if they don't understand each other, right? So other than speaking in English, it's of course being at least familiar with how technology works. Everything is done online. So if you're not proficient with the basic tools like Microsoft Word, Excel, Google Suites,
Gmail.
then
Yep.
yeah, it would be difficult for us to be able to perform the job as well. So we're kind of targeting more the people who kind of knows the tools better, because at the end of the day, the clients pay these VAs an hourly rate, right? So they
Mhm.
are paid by the hour. So what they're also aiming for is, of course, maximum efficiency. But that's why we have training. The training is to prepare you for that before endorsing VAs to our clients. We also have our in-house training at Riva Global that consists of 4 weeks paid training, actually. This time we pay these VAs to train. But of course, not everyone makes it through training. Like what I mentioned in the beginning, we meticulously screen the people to make sure that they are set up for success. Because what we're really aiming for here is security and longevity.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. Yeah, you're not just gonna get anyone, diba? You have to screen, you have to find those who are like what you said, who are more prepared for success, right?
Yep.
So those that have the skills beforehand. So if you guys already know how to use the Google Suite, the Microsoft suite of products, which are actually things we teach in the VA bootcamp, then those that will give you an edge
Yes.
when it comes to applying for a company like REVA Global, right?
Mhm.
Now, can I ask how much usually what's the range of like pay for a VA with REVA Global?
Okay, so our starting rate, the basic offer that we give our VAs is $600 a month or $3.75 per hour. After 6 months of being with a client, we up them up to $700 along with the HMO coverage. Our provider is in Delicare. And then after 1 year, they get paid leave credits. But the clients also offers the VAs increases depending on how they perform. Just to share Jason one success story. So we recently hired a VA. She was really good. She was doing transaction coordination, meaning all those contracts for a realtor client. And she was very good that her client was very happy with her performance. In 2 weeks' time, she was given an increase of $2 per hour in two
Nice.
weeks.
So wow, 2 weeks long. So she was
Yes.
that's from 375. So she started
Yes.
375 and she was earning 575 after 2 weeks. Wow, that's
Correct.
that's amazing. So just put it into perspective. 375 an hour. That's mga 30,000 pesos a month, diba?
Yeah.
Around
And
that.
that's
So
the
and
starting. That's for
starting lang.
the
Oh.
basic. So for the other divisions that we have, let's say medical division, our rate is higher. The starting for that is $700 only because we kind of have a higher requirements for these people. We at least require them to be a nursing graduate, or if not a nursing graduate, someone who took up nursing. More of those in the medical field, really. Those are our target people for the medical division.
Yeah, because they have to listen. Mga transcribing, diba?
Um,
They do transcription, mga ganun.
No, for us, it's insurance verification. So
Oh,
basically,
okay.
they verify if the patient is eligible for that insurance. So
But
that's
they need to be
how
familiar with the medical terms.
exactly. That's why
Yeah,
we have a
yeah.
different set of requirements for that. But once we grow, by all means, Jason, of course, those transcription and transcribing would also be one of our line of businesses in the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and 375 an hour to start. That's not bad actually, especially if you're somebody and you don't require experience as long as you have the skills, diba? No need experience. Is that right?
Yes. Correct. We don't require people to have virtual assistance experience because that's what we're here for. We're going to help them out and we're going to set them up for success.
Yeah, so because a lot of there was a question here who asked that I saw a question here in the comments, need ba ng experience? So yun, you don't need experience to start. And I know a lot of people find it challenging to get started. Diba? When you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to get into the freelancing world or work from home world, ang hirap pang start because a lot of clients are looking for people with experience. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and well, yes, you can get paid more, diba? More than 375 an hour, pero it's challenging. There is that parang obstacle that you have to overcome. It's a bigger challenge for lots of people. Going with a company like Reva Global, which is technically an agency, is very good. And starting at 375, starting at sige, pesos, 30,000 pesos per
Mm-hmm.
hour, which goes to like 35,000 after 1 month.
Yeah, approximately. That is when we're placed with a client. Of course, while these people are in training, then the rate is lower. We
Mm.
pay our VAs a training rate of 1.875 per hour, or
So mga
approximately.
15,000 pesos.
Yeah, yeah, during training.
Yeah. Oh, during training. Oh. Pero once
Yes,
you get placed, once you find a client, then
exactly.
you get mga 30,000 pesos a month, which
Correct.
is good na for
Hmm.
starting. Oh. Now for how long usually do your like you've been around since 2014, you said?
Yeah, around that time. Yep, but we
Have
officially launched and branded ourselves Riva Global in 2018.
oh 20. Okay, okay. So
Mhm.
you've been and like how many I just want to ask like are the VAs happy? Ganon, you have people who've
I
been with
would
you for
like to
several
believe
years.
so. According to feedback and survey, they are. So yeah, but yeah,
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, according to feedback, sige, sige, they're happy. But
yeah.
yeah, especially since you provide like one of the concerns of a lot of VAs who start working with the client directly is medical insurance, diba?
Mhm.
So it's great that you guys have IntelliCare provide that insurance for free, ba? Or is it do they like
No,
50-50
it's free.
contribution?
It's
Oh,
free.
nice.
Yes, and we also offer Riva assistance. When we say Riva assistance, it's like a loan with zero interest. So during this pandemic and during the previous calamity that we had, of course, some of our VAs availed of that. And the reason why we don't charge interests, like what I said in the beginning, that we really care about our people. We understand their needs. So once you're part of Riva, you're not just a team member, but they're also part of the family.
Nice, nice. You guys really care about your people, diba? You really take care of them, and that's an
Mhm.
example. Na you're providing these loans, these interest-free loans, um, to help out, diba? In times like this, in times of pandemic, in times of calamity. Let me just go over the comments here. Let's see, where did I? Sorry. Hello, Janet, John, Doris, Christine, Melanie, oh, from UAE. And we have international viewers tonight. Marites, good evening. Shara from Batangas, Rose from Makati, John from Bulacan, Marites from Bulacan din, Jeline from Batangas, Brenda from Pangasinan. Um, and then let's look at the question. Daming nag-hi dito. I can't read all your comments na who are saying good evening, but glad that you guys are here. But if you have any questions, we'll go ahead and ask them. John, about the training. A lot of people are asking about the training. As George said, it's 4 week training, and then you get paid during that time. Ang dami nag-ask where they can apply. There are a number of people asking about it.
Yeah, www.rivaglobal.ph. But to clarify, guys, the training is paid if they pass training. Okay, so for
Mm,
those who won't be able to make it, then those won't be paid. So
okay.
so far, um, our recruitment team has been very good when it comes to looking for candidates to join the training. So there.
And we'll be working more closely with Reva Global to help provide yung mga candidates with existing skills.
Yeah. And of course, those who have, let's say, joined your course or enrolled in that course are given leverage during the sourcing process of FIFA Global because at least it gives us confidence that these people already know the basics of what it's like to be a virtual assistant.
Yeah, so we'll be working closely together with Riva Global. So yung mga graduates, we have mga graduates who are finding, like I said, they have the challenge. May skills naman sila.
Mhm.
They have the skills, they have the English proficiency, pero they have that challenge of finding their clients, whether it's
Mhm.
selling yourself, putting your profile. So it's great that we can partner with companies like Riva
Mhm.
Global and win-win then because we can provide them with quality candidates. So um,
Yes. So for us, we take care of the placement side. So once you graduate from training, you're already in the pipeline. Of course, no person is identical. So different types of people have different types of skill sets. So we have clients coming in daily. Believe it or not, Jason, when this pandemic hit, our sales skyrocketed. Like it's crazy. Like it's something that we weren't expecting because obviously it's the pandemic. But when we experienced that large influx of sign-ups with clients, then we were able to immediately place our VAs with these clients.
nice, nice. And why do you think that happened? Because yeah, like with pandemic, people are usually we see it,
Mhm.
but locally, people are they're firing people because they
Mhm.
don't have any money, and then there's like the budget's tight right now. So why do you think a lot of your real estate investors, real estate agents are looking for VAs right now? Na pandemic naman.
Yeah, so I think way back, so even when they already had virtual professionals, so the tasks that they gave were very limited. But because of the pandemic, there are a lot of restrictions already. So people tried to adapt and find ways what else can we delegate. And then from there, maybe they figured out that, oh wow, we can delegate this pala, right? So they started hiring more people. And actually, we had something really great that happened, like I think that was 4 months ago wherein due to confidentiality, of course, I cannot state the name of that company, but there was like a call center in the US that kind of shut down. And what they're doing right now is they partnered with the REVA Global to outsource the call center there. So when we have lines of businesses, I'm talking about like a pool of VAs just doing like a call center job, but it's work from home.
Wow, work from home. So yeah,
Yes.
moving on to that, I wanted to ask about that. You have an office in Manila, diba?
Yes, in
And
Quezon City, we do.
in QC, yeah. And
Mhm.
but you allow your and you have of course you have seats over there where people can come in, people can do their work, but you allow people to like work. Like what's the percentage of people who or do you require people to come in right now? Like what's how does it
Oh
work?
no. So while we have a physical office, all of our manpower and workforce are from home. So the only people who really goes to our office is like the HR manager, like RJ and me. But most of the time, we're here at home.
Mm, nice. So they don't even need to go into an office.
No,
Um, or how it apply? Do they need to go to the office to apply? Or pwede pa rin ano, online,
no,
Zoom?
everything. Yes, everything is virtual. So RJ, would maybe you wanted to discuss how the application process is?
Yeah, absolutely. So the office is there, but don't get me wrong. If in case that our VAs would like to visit the office, they're very much welcome to see the office. But the application process is entirely scoped out on virtually. So everything is done from the application, from the paper screening, pre-screening, pre-final interview, the final interview, so on and so forth. Everything is scheduled and processed virtually. So the hassle of them going to an office, dressing up, commuting, that basically has been removed from the equation because everything is done virtually. Even
Nice,
actually the
nice.
requirements, yeah, the requirements, they just have to send it to us. So they don't really have to meet us. We consolidate everything for them, and we communicate everything, through the tools that we have.
Nice. That sounds like a perfect scenario for a lot of the people who are watching right now. They've expressed, we've had we've heard from other companies that other VA companies that have parang physical offices and they want their VAs to come in. But it's great to hear that you guys have pretty much everyone's working from home, no?
Absolutely. We've been doing it for quite some time, so I guess we have perfected the formula already to really remove them from traveling, and that's really the main goal of Riva Global, to provide the best convenience. Entirely working from home. So um, from the early stage of their onboarding until they've been placed with a client, even after they want to move past their career with Riva Global and resign, everything will still be done virtually. But of course, there are a couple of requirements that we will be needing, that some of them needs to be notarized, things like that. So
Mm, mm.
that's pretty much it. But ultimately, everything is done virtually.
All right, that's really great to hear. So yeah, let me go over the comments here. There's a question. Medical VA. Well, we gave the website where they can apply. Riverglobal.ph. There was somebody who asked, "Pwede ba medtech?" So she's a medtech.
For the medical division side, I guess it boils down on how extensive their experience is in terms of the medical field that they've been with. So it's hard to say that if the applicant is just simply a medtech and hasn't got any, experience outside of that, and well, it will it will really get into the screening process. So if they're very good in oral proficiency, if they're very good with their tools, I guess yes, that can be processed. But if it's just purely medical technology that that applicant is, you know, has experience, then it can be quite challenging because the medical division of Riva Global um, has so much branches in terms of insurance verification, in terms of medical terms, you know, patient care, things like that. So it can't just be solely medical technology on its own.
Mm-mm. But in your screening process, like if you have somebody, let's say they don't have medical experience, but they're med tech, they graduated med tech, um, but they can perform, they can pass all the screening, they can pass all the quizzes. Does that person have a good chance of getting hired as a medical PA?
Absolutely. If they have great communication skills, if their demeanor is very nice and high, if they know medical terms, even if they only have experience in the medical technology field, you know, that can be a cut.
Nice, nice. Great to hear. There's a question here, Maria Teresa. Do you have to be a degree holder? I guess this is for the non-medical side, of course, like for the real estate and the other VAs. You mentioned earlier that you're looking for people who have those basic skills that the VA would need. How about college degrees? Is that a requirement as well?
It doesn't necessarily have to be a college degree, but at least college level. So yeah, sorry, you got frozen there for a bit. So
Yeah,
as I
yeah, you're
mentioned,
cutting in and out.
yeah, it doesn't have to be a college degree, but at least college level.
So how do you determine college level?
So as long as they have an experience, you know, being in the college, through their college course, if they haven't finished it, it's fine. What we're really looking for is their diversity. If they will be a culture fit for Riva Global, how committed they are, and obviously, of course, if they can communicate with our clients in the U.S. So number one really is communication. Next is our culture fit.
Yeah, yeah. So, it doesn't, it's not really a requirement basically to have a college degree. But of course it's a plus um to have that degree, to have college experience. But of course, if you have other skills, if you have online skills, if you have online experience, then that will also be taken into account. But yeah, what Riva Global really cares about is having that right fit, that you can communicate properly with the clients and you can perform your duties towards your for your clients. So that's good to hear. Going back to something that was mentioned earlier regarding, we right now we have calamities, right? We have the super typhoons going on. How does it? And I've heard of some VAs, they've had to tell their clients, "I'm sorry, the internet's down. We have no electricity. We can't perform. We can't come to work." How do you guys handle that? Do you get replacement VAs for your clients, or how does that work?
So yeah, go
Okay,
ahead,
so
George.
Oh, during the application process, we also require our VAs to have backup connections and backup computer, just to be sure since we work from home. But of course, when a natural calamity happens, like what happened to Ulysses, right? So we know that the floods were very high and there's no way for our VAs to really come in, and we understand that. So what we do on our end is we communicate this with the client, and we also have a pool of backup VAs who can work on their behalf. So that's kind of how we combat it, to make sure that by the time they're ready, then they can also go back to the client without really disrupting the services of Riva.
Okay, yeah, that's good to hear. That they at least you also kind of have to protect your client and make sure that you're trying as much as possible to care for them as well.
hmm Yeah, and Jason, so the other clients, they actually gave their VAs assistance when they knew that
Wow.
this pandemic happened, when they knew that there was a typhoon. So some of our clients are really very nice, most especially when they've developed that really good relationship with their VAs.
Wow, it's great to hear. Um, so Christina Flores has a question. Do you get your VAs from the Philippines only or also globally?
Okay, for now, we only accept those who are based in the Philippines. And the reason being is because we have a payroll account. It's not using TransferWise. We really use a bank and we take care of everything. We know that the Forex conversion in other platforms like PayPal is very low, right? So the reason why we really set up something with a bank is to make sure that our people and our VAs get to the maximum pay and conversion rate that they can get. And if they work like abroad, then there's no way that we can actually pay them.
And your insurance, diba? You guys provide insurance, so
Yes,
that's very local. But all around the Philippines, naman, you have employees
yes,
in Mindanao, in okay, nice, yeah. Because as
yes,
long as they have the internet requirements, right?
correct.
So yeah, we have a couple of questions about like experience and so on. Um, so well, I guess if you guys can go over like what really are the requirements? Because we mentioned now, okay, it's good if they have the skills, they have communication, they have access to a computer, a backup computer, internet. So what is the complete list of absolute requirements that a candidate must have?
Let me get that for you, Jason. So, can you hear me okay?
Yep, you're good.
Okay. So, for the list of requirements for HR documents, so obviously they will receive a job offer. There's also the training policy agreement. Of course, the contract has to be completed and notarized. We also have a company handbook and the daily reports memorandum. For additional requirements, we have the latest certificate of employment, a copy of their barangay clearance, and a copy of their NBA clearance. And of course, requirements such as their photo, their digital signature. So pretty much we have minimized the requirements as much as possible so that they won't really have to, get so much documents before they can apply. So it's to the minimum requirement that we can possibly have in order for them to get started with their application.
You mentioned COE. What if they don't have like past experience or past formal experience?
Oh yeah, we have experienced that. So we have VAs who just graduated, and I think it's amazing whenever we encounter that. If that is the case, then we just need to get a certification from their school so that we can verify the time and when they graduated really. So
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Okay. That sounds very flexible. Now, those are the absolute requirements. How about the technical side? We have a couple of people asking technical requirements and can it be prepaid Wi-Fi? So how about the technical side? What do you guys require?
For the technical side, we're pretty big on this and pretty strict actually because obviously this is our bread and butter. Like when you work from home, you got to make sure that all your proper tools are working when you need them. So we will require them to have a main computer and a backup computer. So that has to be a minimum of i3 for the processor and the fifth gen computer. That means 2015 and above. For the RAM, it has to be 8 gig for the main, and for the backup, it has to be 4 gig. It can be as minimum as 4 gig for the backup computer. If they will not be able to have a backup computer, then that means that we have to put their application on hold until they complete those requirements. If you think about it, it's not really us being strict about those requirements, but it's really for them because just for example, what happened last week when that storm hit, it was very hard for us to work because a lot has been affected, especially internet connections and computers on its own. So the backup really plays a big role in terms of us continuing our operations. For the internet speed, for the main internet, preferably, of course, it has to be fiber. But if it's not, if it's stable, as long as it's running on 8 Mbps or higher, that's great for the main computer, for the main internet rather. But for the backup, it can be as minimum as just 5 Mbps.
So like pocket Wi-Fi that can hit 5 Mbps.
Yeah, as long as it's reliable. I guess I have to dwell onto that because no matter how good your internet is, if it's not reliable, then it won't do any good. So if it's good in your area, if it's a pocket Wi-Fi, if it's data for your backup, sure, it's fine.
Yeah. Well, it's all relative because we're in the Philippines, right? So, it
Yeah,
could be reliable today, but not reliable tomorrow. You know
yeah,
how it is sometimes.
correct. Agreed.
Yeah, so 8 Mbps, 5 Mbps, okay. It's not too hard. Like right now, the 10, 20 Mbps lines are like 1,000 pesos a month.
Mhm.
Um, so it doesn't sound unreasonable. And doesn't need to be fiber. Okay, that's yeah, these are some pretty good requirements. Now, backup connection, backup computer, like why do you, if I can ask, why do you need a backup computer? Can't they just have one computer and then two internet connections? If it's a computer in the same house, it shouldn't matter, diba?
If our VAs will only have a main computer and won't have a backup computer, if something happens to that computer, then they won't be able to proceed with their work. If they won't be able to proceed with their work, then they won't be paid. So it's going to be a lose lose situation because they will not be paid and the service with our clients will be interrupted. So it the backup really is that important. That's why we also kept it into a minimum. But that minimum requirement is still enough for them to continue their productivity.
Okay, okay, yeah, fair enough, naman. Um, so I 3 fifth gen, 8 for the main, 8 gigabytes for the main, 4 gigabytes for the backup computer, and that's what Mariette's asking. So I Core i3 fifth generation or more recent. So that's like 2015, year 2015 and above
Yeah.
computer, and 8 gigabytes of RAM for the primary computer. So that's to answer Mariette's question. There's just to clarify for some people, the training is 4 weeks. No?
Yes, so the training is composed of two different parts. The first 2 weeks is what we call the academy training, wherein we teach them the basic knowledge of real estate investing. The second part is the master class. So the master class, this is more focused on them being placed with a client already. So this is where we do our client interview drills, more on the practical side already. But during the master class, we are already starting to have them be interviewed by our clients, and if they will be chosen as early as on the third week, then we go ahead and place them with our clients.
Okay, nice. Even by the third week, great.
Correct.
Um, oh, here Maria's asking if they don't have a computer at home, can they use an internet cafe?
I wouldn't recommend it because you will never know what can happen if it's not your personal computer. So it may be available on certain days, but it can be unavailable when you really need it. So it's really required that it is your personal computer.
Yeah, like the files, you'll be
Correct.
downloading like
Yeah.
contracts and things like that. So the security, the data and privacy security stuff, that's always going to be a concern when you're using a public computer. So, if you apply, maybe you have the skills, but like if taking it from River Global side, if they have a candidate who has a computer versus someone who doesn't, they're gonna prioritize the one that has a computer.
Yeah.
Um, how about do you guys have like mga specific like 13th month pay? Ganun.
Oh, 13th month pay, we don't have that. So not as of the moment, but we'd love to have that, of course, in the future, maybe.
But you do have, I know, health benefits. How about like SSS and PhilHealth?
For SSS and PhilHealth, we don't. So if they want to continue their SSS and PhilHealth, they will need to enroll themselves individually. What we have is, yes, the health coverage. So we're currently in partnership with IntelliCare Philippines.
Mhm.
So they will qualify once they have reached their tenure, their 6 months tenure with their client as the principal. And then they will have a free dependent once they reach their 12-month tenure with their client.
Nice. But that also means that you don't withhold taxes, right?
Yes, that's correct. We don't withhold taxes right now. So what they get for their basic is what they receive in their payroll account.
Okay. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be happy about that. Na you don't withhold taxes. Um, so the way it works is they are basically contractors. They're not officially employed by Reva Global. You're still they're still going to be contractors for Reva Global.
Correct. It's an independent type of contract that they will have, but that doesn't mean that they can, go ahead and have other jobs because we don't tolerate moonlighting still due to data protection. So once they have committed to apply to Riva Global, then we are making sure that it's really the company that they want to be with.
So they can't like apply for side jobs on Upwork or online jobs at PH and so on?
No,
Oh, okay. Okay. So there is that, I guess, that sacrifice, diba? So kind of
correct.
if you have to
That's
choose which direction you're going, whether you're gonna stay with River Global, they really want your loyalty, um, or go with Upwork and so on. But I guess another scenario is, if one thing that you can do, and RJ probably won't be too happy with this, but one thing that you can do is test it out, diba? See if you're, according to the surveys, the employees are happy. So baka you'll be, test it out. You might be happy then, Sir Eva Global. And if not, then, you win-win, then you get the experience, and then you can move on to apply for other jobs, maybe an Upwork or online jobs at PH. And I assume that's what some people have done, right?
Yeah, I believe so. But really, the design of our structure is that we will take care of everything from the recruitment to the training for them being placed with a client, so they don't really have to look for a client. We are the ones going to do that. Once they have been placed with a client, they will move on to operations. Operations, they will have a client services manager, which is basically the liaison between the client and our VAs, making sure that the relationship works. And they don't get that with most of the companies
Yeah.
that we have, who's also have a virtual type of setup. And yeah, so if that's exactly the platform that an applicant is looking for, then I would highly recommend that they consider Reva Global.
Yeah, yeah. It all depends what you guys do, what your priority is and what your goals are.
Mhm.
But yeah, the side that Riva Global is offering is, they help you out. They'll help you get hired. They'll help you get that client, that consistent client. And what if a client, decides to not pursue the relationship with the VA? So do you guys help find another client?
Yeah, of course. We of course first of all profile them. What exactly happened? Was the cancellation because of VA's performance, or is the client isn't just doesn't just have enough capabilities to continue with the real estate investing industry? So whatever the decision is, basically we will gauge it from there, and then we'll decide if the VA is still worthy to be placed with another client or not. So there are steps, technical steps, basically that we need to go through.
Yeah, yeah. So it really depends on the scenario, of course. Um,
Yeah.
what's the Can you walk me through the process? So let's say somebody like from somebody applying, somebody goes on your website, they apply to becoming a VA, all the way to training, all the way to placement, all the way to getting hired. So can you walk me step by step through that?
So if you're an applicant, I would recommend that you first read through our website for you to be familiar what position that you're applying for. Once you've decided, you just have to go for and apply. And then once you have submitted your application and completed your prerequisites, then our recruitment team will give you a call and set you up for a pre-screening interview. So after the pre-screening interview, we'll go through with the final interview. After the final interview, we will then schedule you for a handoff call. So during the handoff call, you will get to meet our HR department, our training department, to set proper expectations, kind of like house rules. And that is the time as well that we send them our basic, what do you call that? Training modules, okay, that they can review. Because we usually do it every Friday, so we will send that in advance so that they can review it over the weekend, and then we start our classes on Mondays. So once they have,
Daytime?
it's going to be Eastern Standard Time, so it starts at 10 p.m. Manila until 7 in the morning. So once they have completed the first 2 weeks of academy training, they will be called graduates. Once they graduate, they will go through HR orientation. So this is when we discuss all our processes and policies and everything that they need to know about Riva Global in terms of human resources. Once that's been done, then they will go back to masterclass for another 2 weeks training. But as mentioned earlier, they can be placed with a client as early as under third week already. So, assuming that they have been placed with a client services manager will welcome them, set up a call with with a client to set proper expectations, and then the life goes on from there, from operation.
Yeah. So let me just add to that. So what the client services manager does here at REVA, it's very similar to like a team leader in the call center. So instead of just placing the VA directly with the client and then it's up to them to figure things out, it doesn't work that way. We also have a full support system here to support both our clients and our VAs, so that our CSMs walks the VA through during the initial placement of this pair. And the CSM or client services manager will be there for the VA during the entire partnership of the client and VA pair.
Okay, okay, that's great. The client service manager, you know, really looks out for that. Um, and I guess there's some questions about the time. Is it flexi time? Is it graveyard shift? What's the usual working hours?
Okay, so 90%, 98% actually is of course graveyard shift. Time zone, it's Eastern, Pacific, Central, Mountain Time. It's mostly evening shift, but we cannot really give a specific time or schedule for those people who are asking, because it depends, depending on where our clients are based. But like majority of it is Manila time. Maybe it's between 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. or as early as 8 p.m. actually. 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Manila time is usually the start time.
Okay, okay. So yeah, usually, but depends. Like, because they do calls. Do you have like do all of the VAs do calls, ba?
No, not all. Majority of them does calls, but not all our clients requires our VAs to do calls. Most especially when they hire marketing VAs or those who mainly focuses on the social media, graphics creation. So they don't take calls.
Okay. But like, what's the percentage? Like, how many of those kinds of VAs that you have that don't take calls?
Okay, so when we profile VAs, we have three types of profiles. Number one is more of those who can do both, meaning who can take calls and who can do administrative work. The other one, when we profile them, those are who is very good when it comes to taking in calls, but not so good when it comes to administrative work. And we also have VAs who does mainly can take calls, but it's not really their biggest strength. Therefore, we kind of profile them more on those who just mainly focuses on the administrative side. So in terms of the percentage of those who make calls versus those who doesn't make calls, if we're just talking about like calls, meaning that's their primary task, right, to make calls. So we're talking about 70%. So the 30%, some of them may take calls, but it's not really, to do cold calling. It's mainly calling to kind of verify on something, maybe calls occasionally. Let's put it that way.
Mm, okay. So, but there are like appointment setters.
Mm-hmm.
So we have VAs who mainly make calls, or some who just like verify appointments, verify transactions, and so on.
Correct. We have one line of business that is purely cold callers. All of them, they're one entire team who does cold calling the entire day.
Mm. And do they also have like commissions on appointments aside from their basic?
So the bonus incentives depends on the client. Some of our clients would give our VAs bonuses for that. And of course, the entire amount goes to our VAs. So they worked hard for it. So it goes to them. The incentive schemes really varies per client, as well as, additional bonuses, additional leave credits. So REVA offers 12 paid leaves every year. But for any additional leaves, like let's say when there's a calamity, right? Normally you don't get paid because you didn't come into work, but if your client says yes, even when you're not here we will pay you, then of course they get paid. So it varies client per client.
Okay. Um, yeah, so that's yeah, it's great to hear that there's some clients that do provide the bonuses and do provide the incentives. Now we like you said earlier, you have some clients doing some VAs doing marketing, some doing social media, some doing cold calling. Like typically, And of course, on the medical side, you have insurance verification. But typically, what are the other tasks that, I guess, more on the real estate side?
Mhm.
What are the common tasks that the VAs do?
On the real estate side, it's really appointment setting and of course transaction coordinator coordination rather doing the contracts because that's kind of the really main items that our realtors need in the US. So mostly that's it. Because of course on our end, it's always how can we help our clients earn more in the US, right? So what are
Yeah.
the things that we can take off their plate? That's why most of it really is cold calling so that our clients in the US can just go ahead and close the deal. And it's all up to the VA how to do all the transactions in the back end.
All right. All right. Nice. Um, but yeah, you're also focused on client growth. So both the client growth and the VA. You want to keep the clients happy, of course, so that they'll keep the relationship with the VA. They'll keep um, paying the VA month per month. And you also look out. It's good to hear that you guys really look out for the virtual assistants, not just,
Mhm.
of course, providing fair pay, but also providing that insurance, looking out for with the client, client services manager, and so on. Now, is there anything else that you'd like the audience to know about? Maybe something we didn't mention before, about Reva Global, and what the expectation that you guys would have for those that apply.
So in terms of our expectations, we expect everyone to, of course, perform at their best and most importantly, believed in themselves. Just to share, Jason, before I jumped in and started in the work from home setup, there were a lot of apprehensions on my end. Like, I mean, some of those who are watching who's now working from home, I'm sure shares the same sentiments. The questions like, kaya ko ba? Can I do it? Like, is it really true? Baka hoax lang yan. So those are the common apprehensions that we have. But guys, this is real. Like work from home career is really true. It happens. We've been doing this for years. So if you want to really spend more time with your family, focus on the things that truly matter, then this is an option. This is an opportunity and a possible career for everyone watching this. And of course, we prioritize everyone's safety. So I really encourage everyone to kind of work from home to protect themselves from the pandemic.
All right, thank you. How about you, RJ? Do you have anything else you want to share?
Yeah, sure. So I guess my piece of advice for those of you who are thinking to work from home is to really do your research if this is really something for you. Because if you just want to test the waters and not do any kind of research, then probably it is not the best scenario for you to apply because the training is extensive. It's not like in the call center wherein if you go through training, no matter what happens, no matter how low your score is, in the end there will be a way for you to pass. Here, if you don't really make the cut of our average passing score, then you will really be pulled out and you won't get the training allowance. So that's how serious we are. So know the background of working from home, know the pros and cons, and then if you're really decided, and if you want to really have an experience in the real estate investing side in the US or maybe the medical division side, then yes, absolutely, Riva Global is for you. Second, you have, or we are assuming, of course, that when you apply, you already think that you have the skill set and everything, but it doesn't just boil down with the skill set. So the skill set should be there, yes, but of course the system requirement is equally important as well, because you can't really showcase your skills if your systems aren't working with it. So those really are the expectations that we have, but everything we have designed it to make sure that you guys succeed with your application. So you just have to trust the process. Please listen to your trainers. Be part of the culture and be part of the system, and you should be good here in Viva Global.
All right, thank you so much, guys. I'm sure that a lot of people, they've asked for the website, or they're gonna start looking at the looking at the website and submitting those applications um, based on what they've been hearing, and they've been hearing good things, really good things tonight. Thank you so much for your advice, George and RJ, and helping us prepare. not just VAs in Reva Global, but in general, people to work from home and start in this new career where they can spend more time, like, with their family and spend more time doing the things that they love. Thank you for your time, guys. To George, to RJ, thank you for representing Reva Global and showing us this opportunity that you guys are providing and that you guys are helping out with. And thank you for everyone here. Thank you everyone who's watching right now. Now, if they have additional questions, can we give like an email address, or should they just go on the website and use the messenger?
Yeah, so they can use our website. We have different options there. They can also message us on Facebook, and our email is also open for any kind of inquiries. But of course, faster response will be through chat messages.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much, guys, for your time. And thank you, everyone, for watching. You've been great with all your questions and all your interest. And yeah, you have a great rest of the evening.
Glad
Thank
to
you
be
very
here.
Bye.
much, Jason.
Thank
Bye.
you.